Working the night shift is already a bit eerie, right? The world goes quiet, the lights dim, and you're often left alone with your thoughts and whatever else might be lurking in the shadows. Today, we're diving into some chilling, true stories from people who've experienced the unsettling side of working after dark. These aren't your typical ghost stories. These are real encounters that'll make you think twice about what goes bump in the night. Our first story comes from a security guard named Mark, who used to work at a large, empty office building. For months, his nights were uneventful. He'd do his rounds, check the doors, and watch the cameras. One night, around 2 a.m., he heard a faint sound coming from the third floor. It sounded like a music box. He radioed his partner, who was stationed at the front desk, but the partner heard nothing. Mark went to investigate. As he stepped out of the elevator on the third floor, the music stopped. Silence. He did a full sweep of the floor. Every office was empty, every door locked. He chalked it up to his imagination and went back downstairs. The next night, it happened again. Same time, same floor, same delicate tune. This time, he decided to check the security footage. When he rewound the tape, his blood ran cold. The camera on the third-floor hallway showed him stepping out of the elevator. But just moments before he arrived, a shadowy figure of a small child could be seen skipping down the hall before vanishing into a wall. He never heard the music box again, but he also never walked the third floor alone after that. Next, we have a story from a nurse named Chloe, who worked the graveyard shift in a nursing home. The facility was old, and it had its fair share of strange noises, but one resident always gave her the creeps. An elderly woman, who rarely spoke, would often stare intently at an empty corner of her room, sometimes smiling or nodding. The other nurses just said she was confused. One night, Chloe was doing her rounds and found the woman wide awake, staring at the corner as usual. Chloe asked, "What are you looking at, dear?" The old woman turned to her, her eyes clear and focused for the first time Chloe had ever seen. She whispered, "I'm just talking to the nice man who stands there. He says he used to work here, but he had an accident in the boiler room a long time ago." The next morning, Chloe asked the facility manager about any past accidents. The manager paled and confirmed that a maintenance worker had indeed passed away in the boiler room decades before the nursing home was even built. Chloe learned that day that sometimes the residents aren't the only ones who never leave. This next one is from a late-night gas station attendant. Let's call him Alex. His station was on a lonely stretch of highway, miles from the nearest town. It was a quiet job, mostly dealing with tired truckers and the occasional late-night. One stormy night, the power flickered and went out. The backup generator kicked in, casting long, dancing shadows across the store. A few minutes later, an old beat-up sedan pulled up to the pumps. A man got out, but instead of grabbing the pump handle, he just stood there, staring at the store. He was drenched from the rain, and his face was hidden by the brim of a hat. Alex felt a knot of dread in his stomach. The man started walking slowly toward the entrance. Alex quickly locked the door. The man reached the glass door and just stood there, motionless, his face still obscured. He didn't knock, he didn't try the handle, he just stood for what felt like an eternity. Alex was about to call the police when the man slowly raised his hand and wrote something in the condensation on the glass. Then he turned and walked back to his car, got in, and drove away. After his heart stopped pounding, Alex went to the door to see what he wrote. In messy, backward letters, it said, "I know you're in there. Let's move from a lonely highway to a bustling city." This story comes from a cleaner who worked in a historic theater. The place was beautiful, full of velvet seats and golden fixtures, but it had a reputation. Staff often talked about the man in the balcony, a ghostly figure seen watching rehearsals from the shadows. Sarah, our cleaner, was a skeptic. She'd been cleaning there for a year and had seen nothing. One night, she was polishing the brass railings in the main lobby. It was close to 3 a.m., and the entire building was silent, except for the hum of her floor buffer. Suddenly, she heard a single, slow clap echo from inside the main theater. She froze. It wasn't a loud, enthusiastic clap. It was a slow, deliberate, solitary clap. She turned off her buffer and listened. Silence. Her heart was racing. But curiosity got the better of her. She cautiously pushed open the doors to the theater. It was pitch black, except for the faint glow of the emergency exit signs. She scanned the seats, the stage, the balconies. Nothing. She was about to leave when she heard it again, this time from the upper balcony, directly above her. A single, slow clap. She didn't wait for a third. She grabbed her things and practically ran out of the building. She later found out that a famous critic from the 1920s was known for his signature single, slow clap, when he particularly disliked a performance. His favorite seat? The upper balcony. Our final story for tonight comes from someone who worked in a call center. You wouldn't think a call center could be haunted. But who'st wait. The building was a new, modern, but the company operated 24/7. Ben worked the overnight shift, from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. The floor was usually half empty at that hour. One night, Ben was on a call when he heard a phone ringing a few cubicles away. It was strange because that desk had been empty for weeks. He finished his call and walked over. The phone was silent. He shrugged it off. A little while later, it happened again. A distinct, clear ring from the same empty desk. This time, he saw the small red light on the phone flashing. He walked over, and as he got closer, it stopped. Now, he was officially creeped out. He mentioned it to his supervisor, who laughed it off as a system glitch. The next night, the ringing started again. But this time when Ben looked over, he saw a figure sitting at the desk, a dark silhouette with its back to him, holding the receiver to its ear. He blinked, and it was gone. He was terrified. He started digging into the company's history and discovered that the call center had a very high-stress environment. A few years prior, an employee had a fatal heart attack right at their desk during a call. You guessed it, it was the same desk that kept ringing. Ben put in his 2-week notice the very next day. From empty offices and old theaters to lonely highways and modern call centers, it seems the night shift holds secrets in every corner. These stories remind us that when the rest of the world is asleep, a different kind of life awakens. What do you think? Are these just tired minds playing tricks? Or is there something more to the darkness? If you've had a creepy night shift experience, share it in the comments below. I'd love to read them. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe for more chilling stories. Stay safe, and maybe keep a light on.